Hey everybody, happy Thanksgiving Eve, happy Wednesday. You guys, I'm Stacy. I'm the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. And we're just gonna give it a sec. I'm gonna go on, make sure that I'm live, and then we will get started. Just a minute here. So I'm not coming up just yet. All right, perfect. So you guys, the notification should have went out. Again, I'm Stacy. I'm the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy. You guys, as you're popping on, just say hey, where you're watching from. I'm actually going to pull up the comments here. I forgot to. All right, just say hey, like I said, where you're watching from. I'm not sure how many people we'll have on tonight. I really wasn't thinking that this was the day before Thanksgiving. I don't know what I was thinking tonight. But anyway, you guys, I wanted to come on live with you. And I just wanted to go ahead and share some of the finishing touches that we're going to be doing on this. Well, I've been calling it my Mediterranean piece just because of the color scheme and everything. So just to let you know what I've already done. And by the way, Dixie Belle, oh, good, Sarah, you are on. I wasn't sure since it was like right before Thanksgiving. I'm sure everybody's like getting ready, cooking, whatever. I've actually got water on simmering so that as soon as I get off the live, I can go inside and finish dinner. But anyway, I digress. You guys, we're going to be working on this piece back here. We're going to be putting some wax on, some Bestang wax, and then also just a little bit of gilding wax to give you an idea of what you can do with it. But I did paint this piece live on my page over a couple different lives, first coat, second coat. So just to let you guys know what I did, I started off, I did a coat with sea spray to thicken up my paint, give it this some texture in Plum Crazy, Terracotta, and Kernel Mustard, and that's what you see peeking through. Once I bring you in for a close-up, it's going to make a lot more sense, guys. Hey, Donna. Oh, my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, and so anyways, that was the first coat. So I came back with the second coat, and I kind of did a watery dabbing, blending thing with Peacock, which is this one right here, some Antebellum, which is kind of my darker blue right in here. And then also I gave it some highlights with Pure Ocean. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I also did do 2 coats of satin on this to protect it. And then we're going to go ahead and add the finishing touches. Like I said, we're going to be using some brown Bestang wax, kind of tone this down a little bit. And then also just bring it together a little bit more. Oh, and I neglected to mention, you'll be able to see it in a close-up. I did some dry brush with coffee bean as well to kind of age it out, give it like that distressed looking. Oh, tell your mom happy Thanksgiving too. I hope she's feeling better. That's so sweet. All right, so let's see here. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey, Sharon. Rest to do, but of course I'm here. Well, thank you. All right, perfect. Yeah, Sarah, you got it made if you're just going to be the guest. That's phenomenal. Hopefully you don't have to do the cleanup and everything too. Hey, Lori, good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Probably going to say that like 200 times to everyone, but just bear with me here. You guys, I'm going to bring you in super close so you can really, really see what we're doing. Also, this is going to give you a better idea of what this truly looks like. So let me just pop you down some. And like I said, I'm going to bring you close. Oh, good. Oh, I'm so happy you get to take her home. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's see. I'm going to drop you guys down some. You guys, I love Thanksgiving. I love just... we have our own kind of weird tradition. So you guys, the color looks so crazy whenever you're close up like this. It actually looks really good when you can see it all together. But I'm going to bring you in so close on this drawer. I really want you to be able to see what we're doing. Because some of these details, it's really hard to tell what's going on here. So the first thing I like to do with my wax is I really like to add more shading. I like to bring in the details on all these grooves. It's really going to make everything pop out a little bit more. And you guys, I'm going to keep this live short tonight. I know it is the night before Thanksgiving, so I just want to give you the details to really how to make this look. So one of the things that I see people struggle with is getting this line on here with wax. So first of all, I do want to dirty this up a little bit, but to get it on here and not dirty up your piece, and just give it a lot of detail. So the first thing, and a lot of times people will do this and it'll pull back from the cracks and crevices when they wipe it back. And that's another issue. So I'm going to show you kind of how to get this on here to really accentuate the detail, not dirty it up too much. And then also, I forgot what I was going to say, you guys. I'm trying to get there, but it just wasn't working out. I'll remember in a minute. But I'm using a natural bristle brush. This is just an art brush. It has a little point on it. You can see about how much wax I put on it. So I know what I'm trying to say. I want it to be shaded. So I want it to be solid in some spots. Like if you see a sketch or a drawing, it'll kind of be dabbed out. The line is not the same thickness all the way across. So I'm going to go across it like this. So you see it's like on really thick here, not so much here. It's not the same all the way around. And you don't want it to be the same. That just looks unnatural. So I kind of start at the top, drag it down, and I'm going all the way around. And the reason I'm doing this also is because if I use a big brush to apply this, it's not going to get in the crevices. It's not going to be this nice dark line so that it looks like it's shaded. So that's why I take the time to do this. Thicker in some place, not as thick in others. So I'm just going over all of this just like that. By the way, I also want to show you, well, I'll show you in a minute because you can see it over here. I've done half of this already. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I want to line it out around the drawer because I want all of this depth. I'm adding depth. I really want to accentuate those shadowed areas. I want this to look old and rustic. So I've got it on around here. I'm going to go ahead. So this is the back plate for my hardware. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I've got a nice opaque line. It's not transparent at all. Nice and opaque. Now, I do want to dirty up this piece some. So I'm going to take a little bit of wax. This is a La Petite brush, taking a little bit of wax here. And I'm going to take my plate. I'm going to wipe some of that off, just like this. Spread it all around my brush. And remember, I have texture on here because I put sea spray on. And I'm going to lightly streak this across. And what's happening is it's catching on top of that texture. It'll even catch on some of my drips, like right here that I have. Just want to kind of wipe that across. So all it's doing, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on here. All it's doing is catching some of these high points like right here. Now I'm going to take this is just a cotton cloth and it is lint free. And I'm just going to go ahead and, well, probably not. Hold on. Just going to go ahead and wrap it around my finger. So now all I want to do is make this line look more natural. I'm going to soften up the edge a little bit. So I'm not actually getting into the crack with this. All I'm doing is putting the pressure on my finger towards the outside of the line. My finger really is not touching inside the crack. And I'm just going around here, softening that line so it looks more natural. And each time I go, I'm changing out where I'm putting my finger. And the reason that I'm doing that is I don't want to drag the wax around. I just want to soften the line. I'm going to get that a little bit softer down here. So I'm putting a little more pressure around these edges because I really just want to soften that part up. So my wax is not set up yet. It's still pulling back. The reason it's pulling back because, again, I protected this with 2 coats of satin first so that my wax would be workable. So I'm going to also go around, and I'm going to go ahead and soften up this line around here. If you watch how I applied the first coat too, you're going to see, by the way, I'm lightly going over this. I don't want to brush all the wax back, but I do just want to pull a little bit back. You're going to see that I used coffee bean to accentuate all these details here. This is a slightly different, this busting wax is slightly lighter. So I'm going in here with the busting wax as well. So I've got a couple different aged shades. So that's just going to give it more dimension, make it look more natural. I'm not going into all the details, but this is going to be a back plate, so it's going to have some bronze gilding wax on it. Got it into the details, the wax here. And we're just going to pull it back with this cloth. So it's going to come off the raised portion and stay in all those details. So it's giving it a lot of dimension. And then I'm also, so I intentionally, if you can tell down here, I wanted it to look more aged under the hardware. So I actually went in and dabbed a little bit of the terracotta in here. Very watered down look on the second layer. So now I'm just going to take some of this busting wax and I'm going to dab it on to kind of darken that up, giving it a few different shades as well, so that it's really hanging down. Let me see if I can pull you back. You guys, I hope this color looks right for you. Whenever I see it on here, it's really more bright like down here, but I feel like I have the glare from the light on it. Let me see if I can turn it off so you can really, no, because then I just have my overhead lights on. So we've got this one done. We're just gonna move over and we'll go ahead and do this second one. I'm going to pull that back a little bit more. It was a little bit farther out than I wanted it, a little bit more thick. So we're going to come over here. We're going to do the same thing to this drawer. But what I want to show you is, can you see the difference like right here versus this side where you really have no dimension? You can't even tell that it's curved up. That's the difference this wax is making. That's the dimension that it's adding. So this side's done and this side's not. Hopefully you guys can see the difference there. Let me take a quick look at the comments. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Hey, Patty, good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, Donna. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm a little bit OCD, Sarah, on the details. That is so true. And you know, this is kind of time consuming, but it's totally worth it. It's what's really going to make it stand apart, all these details. But the difference between, actually, I can pull it back. You guys, I'm going to show you the difference between doing it this way versus just using a wax brush. So same thing, I'm just spreading the wax I put on my brush around, and we're just gonna go over it like this. Let's say I just wanna try to use this to get into the details. Remember, by the way, I did put it up here. So, by the way, I'm gonna pull all this back because this is not what I wanna do. It's a totally different look. Now, you see what I just did? Still in that space, I have all my dimension over here where I lined it out. Still here, you can't even see where that's adding dimension. All it did was dirty it up. So you guys, I'm going to pull this back right quick so that I can do it to where it's giving it all that dimension. Like I said, the reason I'm able to pull this back is because I've put a clear coat of satin on here. Okay. And you really couldn't even tell. I mean, it really was not a big difference on this piece when I just did it that way. So here we go. So again, I'm just going to tip out my brush. Take that line down here. Take it over here. And it's a nice opaque line, but it still kind of have those spaces in between the shading. It's not the same thickness in all spots. So that is really what makes the difference. Like if you see a line drawing, not every line is the same. When you have different thickness in your line, that gives it more dimension. So the same applies to the way you're applying the wax on here. So I'm just going nice and thick around there. Let's see. I'm going to go under the drawer because I want this area to be more shaded out. And we're going to go in between over here. Whoops, sorry. Guys, I've got you in really close. I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. So I just hit my camera with my art brush here. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing. Now notice how I applied the wax before, which is the normal way. I'm going to do it different this time. In this, you may not be able to really tell the difference. But in person, it's creating a very slight, all I'm doing is lightly flicking my brush kind of over this so that I can catch on any raised spots. But it's not giving it, because it's so light and feathery touch, it's not, the wax isn't going everywhere. And then hardly any pressure. All I'm doing, I'm kind of skipping over spots. That's a really very soft way you can tell. I'm also using very light pressure here because sometimes if you use super heavy pressure, you'll notice where it gets like a spot that's really clear. It doesn't even look like wax is there and you can't put it back on. Don't use a lot of pressure. That makes a difference. All right, so same thing. We're just softening up that edge. Pulling some of it back. And all I'm doing is putting the pressure on the high point. I don't want to pull it out of my little cracks there. So I'm just wiping it off the high point. Let's see if I can get over here a little bit more. And there we go. And that's it. So we're going to come in and just work this in. So I am like really scrubbing it into the details here. Kind of give it that extra dimension. I also want to dirty up this a little bit more because it is a back plate for my hardware. So I really want to dirty that up. I want it to be, in the end, it's going to be less paint, more wax. So that's it. And actually, we're not even going to do any more of this part with the Best Dang wax. We're just going to bring it over here. But now, can you guys tell the difference? Let me bring you in. Can you tell the difference where you see that dark line right here? It is really accentuating that curve and then back into another spot. So when you see it all together, it's really brings it out. Oh, thank you, Patty. You know what? I'm so worried that I'm not going to be able to photograph it well because every time I see it on video, it looks different. The colors it's really a vibrant piece, but really aged out. But like I said, the colors seem on the video to be showing up a little darker. Really depending on what device I look at too. Oh, thanks, Marianne. Hey, good to see you. Happy Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. You guys, I'm so excited to eat. Can you tell? I'm starving. Oh, thanks, Donna. So yeah, you guys, if you're joining late, the colors on this piece, I did paint it live on my page. There's a link to my page in the description if you want to go back and take a look. But it's Plum Crazy. Coffee Bean is what is giving it all the distress look. And then first coat, Plum Crazy Terracotta, Kernel Mustard. Second coat, Peacock, Antebellum, and highlighted with a little Pure Ocean here and there. So you guys, let me see if you can you really see the details? So you can see that dry brush that I'm always doing live, how it really ages it out. This is kind of what the vinegar does, where it pulls back like that blue to expose those oranges, all of that good stuff. So, all right, so we are going to quickly work on one of these back plates. I'm going to show you the hardware as well. So I did buy this hardware new. It's obviously not what came on it. And really quickly, it was a super slick, shiny metal. So I did 2 coats of slick stick on it. I only did 1 coat of coffee bean, and that's really just to give the bronze something to grab onto. I did protect them with satin clear coat as well. Did just a little bit of dry brushing in the blue. Even though you're not really going to see that, I wanted to go ahead and do it so it would have some continuity with the dresser itself in these back plates. So this is bronze. And you guys, while we're working on this, what do you think? Should I highlight it with copper to kind of bring out those oranges? Or maybe, I'm thinking not gold, but you know, I've got the Kernel Mustard and stuff on here too. But this is bronze. So the gilding wax is oil-based. It's the very last thing you do. I waxed these drawers earlier. So you want to give your wax time to set up and dry a bit before you, oh, perfect. I think copper too, Patty, before you put your gilding wax on. So I am actually going to use a brush to apply mine, but you can apply it with your fingers too. Just kind of go around here. Like I said, I'm okay with some of the paint poking through here. And of course I want it to show like a little bit, but for the most part, I want these to be very metallic. It is the back plate. So I'm going to kind of dab some of this in. The reason I'm dabbing is because it's going to allow my colors to show through a little bit more. Let me bring you up. Okay, perfect. Everybody says copper. That's what I think too. All right. So this is letting some of the colors show through. Just going to do this top area. But almost, so it's making it look more patinaed, which is what I wanted. Just got some of that blue paint showing. And then for our hardware, let me just show you. First, I'm going to do this bottom section, and actually this is going to be easier. So you can put gilding wax straight on, I do it plenty, straight onto the hardware, but when it's a slick, shiny metal, the wax just never looks quite even to me. So that's why I did just 1 coat of coffee bean. I didn't need excellent coverage. I just needed that undertone. So just using my finger, putting this bronze all the way around. I mean, you're really not going to see much of this part, but you know, I want to do it in case you catch a glimpse. And I think I'm actually going to go back to using my brush here, because I want to let some of this blue. So first I'm just kind of flicking my brush over the hardware, because I want to let some of that blue show through. I always like creating dimension with my hardware too. I probably spend way too much time on hardware if I'm being honest. So I've got a little blue peeking through. I kind of wish I would have done the orange on here too, but that's all right. It'll be fine. Maybe I can bring that out with the copper. I can do some stuff. I've got some other oil-based kind of waxes. I can maybe bring that together a little bit more. Oh, actually, I think that's perfect. And then we're going to highlight with a little bit of the copper. So you guys also, these will look kind of dull when they dry. They're oil-based, so they're going to take about 12 to 24 hours to dry. So after they're dry, they'll get a little bit dull. Just take a finishing pad and just kind of go like that over it. It'll buff it out, and it'll bring back that vibrant kind of look. Oh, yeah. Loving the copper. What do you guys think? I like it. Sorry for the little noise. Oh, I'm so excited. I love this. Sorry. This is exactly what I wanted it to turn out like. And I'm not putting it everywhere, just here and there. You guys, I could even dab a little of this down here, and that would be really pretty as well. Let's go up there. So let's see what I can do with my hardware here. Now, actually, I'm going to get a brush because I want to dry brush this a little bit. So I've got copper on my brush. And I'm going to dry brush it because I want to stay out of, I want those cracks and crevices to be a little bit darker. Bring out that copper on the high points. Hopefully you can see. Sometimes metallics show up a little bit different on camera. Putting a very small amount of this gilding wax on here. I don't want it to be you know what? This is a great example of I did not add all of the dimension that I did when I painted the hardware versus when I painted the back plates. And you can tell the difference. Can you see it? I've still got some dimension going on. You see the shadows and everything. But look at the dimension. I might end up getting some black gilding wax and giving this a little bit more dimension. But I love this. Love it, love it, love it. So this is exactly how I wanted it to turn out. And we'll let that dry once I buff it out. Like I said, it's going to change the look of it. But that is it, guys. And let me give you, I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of details on this piece. Not even sure if you could see the bottom. Sorry, I had to put my lids on. Not sure if you were able to see the bottom of the piece, but I have all kinds of this detail on here. So this is kind of what it looks like. Yes, perfect. I thought so too, Kimberly. Oh, hey, hey, I didn't see you on earlier. If you had done orange on the knobs, it may have been too much. Yeah, that's true too. And I think once I get them all together, it's gonna be perfect. But I could add a little bit more in the detail. But I think that's gonna be perfect. I guess you can't see it on here. But hopefully this gives you an idea of the color a little bit more. But I will have this done very soon. I should have already had it done last weekend and staged. But I will have it done really quick here. And I'll post the final pictures on my page. And like I said, if you want to see how this paint job was achieved, I did do it live, the first and second coats on my page. I'm going to look through the comments right quick, guys, before I pop off. I just want to raise you up so that please ignore my total disaster of a mess back there. I have to work in a mess. All right. See, it's so weird. When I look at it on camera here, thanks, Marianne. When I look at it on camera here, it looks like, I don't know, different. But then when I see it on my phone, see the differences in the blues? This is actually what it looks more like. Oh, thanks, Donna. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Hello. Yeah, I love the copper. Excellent choice. I feel like I think everybody said copper. Thank you, Marianne. All right, guys, so I don't see any questions. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight, too, because like I said, I know it's Thanksgiving Eve, and I just appreciate your time and being here. But you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. I will be live on my page Friday at 5. So definitely join me. We are actually, you know what? I'm not sure what we're going to be working on, but something. But have a wonderful day tomorrow. Enjoy your family. Enjoy all the good food. Do I ever mix patinas? Yeah, definitely. I do. You know what? One of my favorite mixes is iron and bronze. I love, like, how I do, if you've seen me before, how I do, like, this dimension. Like, when I have something like this, I always go in and dab it with my French tip brush. And, you know, with whatever, like, in this case, coffee bean. And then I start layering in and giving it that dimension. I love to do the same thing with bronze and iron. And I just dab in the iron and then I dab in the bronze kind of around it. And then once you do the patina spray, it gives it so many cool colors. And just in that one layer, it looks like you have tons of layering. So yes, I definitely do mix the patinas. Is that what you meant too, Kimberly, just to be sure? Hopefully that's what you meant. If not, I will see it when I go back to the comments. I am going to go have dinner first, so it might be a couple hours before I go back to the comments and respond. But you guys, again, thank you so much. I feel like I can never say goodbye. I just keep talking. Thank you, Sarah, for being here. Thank you, Dixie Belle, for having me. And thank you guys for joining me. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.